This marks the 8th part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's begin our recap video for today's manhwa. Yeon read a letter from Hojeong. In the letter, Hojeong thanked Yeon for the gift he received, which also included advance notice of Yeon's intention to destroy his clan. Hojeong sarcastically appreciated the gift from the Yeon Clan's intelligence organization, saying it relieved his stress. He acknowledged that Yeon was curious about his thoughts and promised to share them. However, he first asked Yeon if the goal was to become the Murim Alliance Leader, implying that Yeon aimed to destroy both his clan and the Yeon Clan. Yeon read the letter and thought about his lifelong goal and dream of becoming the Murim Alliance Leader. He was surprised that a young man could see through his ambitions so clearly. He continued reading Hojeong's letter, where Hojeong expressed genuine admiration for Yeon's ambition, stating that he also would use any means to achieve his goals. Hojeong declared his intent to strike the Yeon Clan, differentiating between Yeon's cute gifts and the true sharp knives. He recognized that Yeon also had a secret plan to deal a fatal blow to the Yeon Clan and proposed they unite to bury the Yeon Clan together. Hojeong acknowledged that a single letter couldn't establish trust, suggesting a face-to-face meeting to conspire together. He emphasized the urgency of their decision, trusting that Yeon's renowned wisdom and strategy would recognize the importance of acting quickly. Hojeong concluded by saying he would continue to act aggressively in the meantime. Yeonhwa questions whether a letter could be a trap. Yeon responds that it likely isn't, suggesting that the writing style reflects the author's personality. He believes the person would confront challenges directly and with pride rather than through deceit. This indicates confidence in their abilities, implying that they wouldn't be overly concerned if the proposal fails. Yeonhwa acknowledges this perspective. Yeon then remarks on the letter's unusual nature, noting that it contains both praise and criticism, shifting between respect and disparagement. He expresses surprise at how a single letter could evoke such a strong reaction, despite his extensive experience with various trials and tribulations. Yeon speculates that the letter might be part of a plan to destroy the Yeon Clan, finding the situation thrilling. He turns to Yeonhwa for her opinion, but Yeonhwa responds that he seems to have already made up his mind, suggesting he proceed since he is clearly focused on Hanam. Yeon agrees, noting that Hanam is conveniently located for a short trip. Meanwhile, Hojeong and Doiksang are navigating a crowded market. A shopkeeper advertises rice balls as cheap, prompting Doiksang to ask the price. The shopkeeper responds that they cost 9 each. Doiksang buys all the rice balls and tells the shopkeeper to keep the change. The shopkeeper, initially worried that the price might provoke violence, is relieved by Doiksang's generosity. Doiksang expresses concern about their situation, questioning whether it's wise to be leisurely shopping when they might face stronger adversaries sent by the Yeon Clan. He warns that they could encounter elite combat specialists rather than the less capable assassins they faced before. Doiksang is worried about what will happen if Yeon, a formidable opponent, arrives, and questions what they will do if he doesn't. Hojeong responds that worrying doesn't solve problems. When Doiksang asks if Hojeong can handle everything, Hojeong confidently says he will manage and that it's beneficial. He explains that his martial arts are still developing and that encountering masters will help him improve. Hojeong also mentions he should begin preparing to awaken the next guardian god. Doiksang expresses confusion about Hojeong's strong resolve, questioning how he can be so determined on his own. Hearing this, Hojeong reflects on his past, recalling his younger brother and father, and acknowledges the presence of adults he can rely on. He remembers his time as the Dark Emperor, where he had comrades but no family, and feels comforted by having a place to return to. He reassures Doiksang that he is not alone. Doiksang finds Hojeong's behavior unsettling and accuses him of being creepy. Hojeong clarifies that their relationship is strictly professional. Doiksang responds with a light-hearted comment, expressing that once their tasks are complete, Hojeong should treat him to a substantial meal, noting that their previous meal was insufficient. Hojeong instructs Doiksang to ensure the assassins are well managed. Doiksang assures him that he is reliable and will handle things as needed. Hojeong then mentions that there are 6 assassins involved. Doiksang warns that there may be more and advises Hojeong to take care of himself before they part ways. Hojeong moves out of the crowd and arrives at a bamboo forest. He finds a rock to sit on and begins to eat a rice ball. However, his meal is interrupted when an arrow is shot at the rice ball, ruining his food. Frustrated, Hojeong stands up and laments his inability to enjoy a meal in peace. At that moment, the leader of the assassins steps forward and asks if he is Yeon Hojeong. He confirms his identity, stating that he is the eldest son of the Green Mountain Yeon Clan. The leader acknowledges this and confirms that he has come to the right place. The leader of the assassins, Myung Chizun, expresses admiration for Hojeong's swordsmanship, noting that he has never encountered anyone with such skill. He introduces himself as a member of the Pure White Army. Hojeong responds with surprise, stating that he has never heard of the Pure White Army and questions whether it is different from the group of thugs he previously encountered. Chizun reacts with surprise, asking if Myung failed to mention the name of her unit. Hojeong laughs off the mention of thugs, recalling that he dispatched them effortlessly with his axe, as if it were on fire. This provokes the assassins, who become angry and prepare to attack Hojeong. However, Chizun unexpectedly apologizes for sending his inexperienced niece to confront Hojeong, acknowledging the mistake and showing respect. Hojeong acknowledges that the encounter was a worthwhile challenge, and notes that Myung Chizun seems different from what he initially expected. He anticipated Chizun would lose his composure and attack recklessly, but Chizun appears disciplined and skilled, unlike the previous opponents. Chizun then asks if Myung used any secret techniques against Hojeong. Quando Hojeong confirms that she did, Chizun inquires if Hojeong was able to defeat her despite this. Hojeong responds that the situation was critical and the outcome was as evident. Chizun explains that he does not rely on secret techniques, despite the patriarch's belief in them. He emphasizes that a warrior's strength and ki come from rigorous training and refinement, not merely from lineage or secret techniques. Since Hojeong has witnessed their clan's secret techniques, Chizun states that he cannot allow him to live, drawing his sword in preparation for combat. Hojeong adopts a fighting stance and tells Chizun that he considers him the strongest opponent he has faced so far. He adds that he intends to use this fight as an opportunity for his own growth. Chizun, amused, agrees and launches an attack with remarkable speed, which Hojeong blocks with his spear. The force of the attack makes Hojeong's hand tremble, revealing Chizun's immense strength. As Hojeong struggles to defend himself, an assassin shoots an arrow at him, but he manages to dodge it. Throughout their fight, Chizun ensures that the assassins do not interfere. Chizun gains the upper hand, consistently blocking Hojeong's attacks and pushing him back with each strike. Despite being on the defensive, Hojeong remains determined and thinks that if the fight continues, he might be able to draw out the White Tiger, a powerful technique. As Hojeong and Chizun continue their fight, Kanglim instructs the assassins to attack Hojeong. The assassins respond that they were specifically told by Lord Myung Chizun not to interfere. Kanglim insists, explaining that Hojeong's ki has been expanding rapidly, indicating he is about to unleash something significant. Meanwhile, Hojeong concentrates on controlling his breathing, focusing on his inhales and exhales. Chizun notices Hojeong's labored breathing and decides to wait until Hojeong is ready to continue, showing a level of respect and patience for his opponent's preparation. To Chizun's surprise, the assassin squad disregards his orders and rushes towards Hojeong. One assassin fires an arrow at Hojeong, who catches it and throws it back with great force, striking the assassin in the head. Hojeong, enraged by the earlier incident involving his rice balls, takes this as a form of vengeance. A second assassin approaches and attacks with a sword, but Hojeong leaps into the air to dodge the blow and kicks the assassin with enough force to break the ground. Before the dust settles, a third assassin attacks with a spear, which Hojeong also defeats. The fourth assassin uses a dagger to attack Hojeong. While Hojeong manages to block or dodge most of the attack, he is injured by a partial hit from the dagger. As Hojeong lands on the ground, he reflects that the current challenge is insufficient. Chizun, observing the situation, questions Kanglim about the interference, expressing his surprise and frustration at the disruption. Kanglim starts to explain to his uncle Chizun, but Chizun interrupts, asserting that the battlefield belongs to him and questioning whether it's appropriate for Kanglim, even as a direct descendant, to interfere in a collateral's fight. Kanglim responds by asking why Chizun is making this a clan issue. Meanwhile, Hojeong contemplates the difference between breathing techniques and his own approach. He reflects that while emitting dark energy might be akin to a breathing technique, maximizing the amount of ki inhaled and circulating vital energy throughout his body is what activates his white tiger technique. Chizun tells Kanglim that his obsession with secret techniques is clouding his understanding. Kanglim then asks if they are going to argue about secret techniques in the midst of the fight. Chizun counters by stating that one should not rely solely on secret techniques, referencing the principles of their Yeon clan. Chizun, noticing an incoming attack, quickly pushes Kanglim out of the way and turns to slice a boulder that was about to hit him. As he does this, Hojeong, who was positioned behind the boulder, prepares to attack. To Hojeong's surprise, Chizun thrusts his sword, causing Hojeong to drop his spear and grab onto Chizun's sword. At this moment, Kanglim orders the remaining assassins to attack Hojeong from all directions. As the assassins close in on him, Hojeong grinds his teeth and begins absorbing ki from the surroundings. Seeing this, Chizun shouts for everyone to retreat from Hojeong, but it is too late. Hojeong's absorbed ki manifests as a massive white tiger, accompanied by a powerful roar. The roar of the white tiger from Hojeong causes the assassins to tremble and fall to the ground. Chizun observes this and recognizes it as a true display of martial arts skill. Hojeong relishes the sensation of the wind rushing around him, feeling a powerful connection with the guardian god of the western heaven, the white tiger. Kanglim, still on the ground, remarks on the monstrous nature of Hojeong's martial arts. Meanwhile, Chizun, determined to confront Hojeong, rushes towards him despite his frustration over the martial arts discussion. To Chizun's surprise, Hojeong appears behind him and strikes with his spear. Chizun attempts to block the attack with his sword, but the sword shatters, and he is pushed backward. Shocked by the immense strength, Chizun questions the source of Hojeong's power. Hojeong charges at Chizun, who realizes that hesitation could lead to his death. He grabs a sword from the ground and assumes a defensive stance. The assassins try to intercept Hojeong but are easily defeated. Hojeong then unleashes 9 gale slashes of the white tiger towards Chizun. Seeing Hojeong's attack, Kanglim warns his uncle, Chizun, to dodge. However, Chizun, determined, presses forward and continues to fight Hojeong. Despite his efforts, Chizun's sword eventually breaks. Furious, Chizun renews his attack, but Hojeong defends effortlessly and counters with a full-force assault. This causes explosions of ki and raises a cloud of dust. As the dust settles, Kanglim finds Chizun's lifeless body beneath Hojeong's spear. Hojeong removes his spear and reflects on Chizun's strength, noting that his swordsmanship almost reminded him of his father. Turning to Kanglim, Hojeong asserts that Chizun was a far superior individual compared to Kanglim, a collateral member of the Yeon clan. Using the white tiger technique, Hojeong tells Kanglim to quietly serve as a messenger to his father. At the Yeon clan, Yeon-chun, distressed, questions his son Kanglim about the circumstances of his injuries. The doctor reports that while the immediate crisis has passed, Kanglim is in severe shock and will require around 3 months and 10 days to recover. Yeon-chun, frustrated, throws the doctor against the wall. He then picks up Kanglim and demands to know if this is the work of the Dam Master Manipulator, insisting Kanglim answer. Trembling, Kanglim attributes his condition to the teachings of the tiger ancestors. Myung-chun, puzzled by the mention of the tiger, wonders if the individual responsible is truly a significant threat. He then asks about Chisen's whereabouts and what led to Kanglim's current state. He is informed that Chisen is dead, along with the warriors and female assassins who accompanied him. Realizing the implications, Myung-chun concludes that Yeon Hojeong, who defeated Chisen, possesses martial arts skills and strength surpassing even Chisen's. The person confirms this assessment, suggesting Hojeong is indeed a formidable adversary. Myung-chun reflects that Chisen was one of the top 10 skilled individuals even among the collateral branches, and he realizes that the saying like father, like son does not hold true in this case. He orders the release of the Blue Wolf. Surprised, the person asks if Myung-chun is certain, noting that there will be public scrutiny. Myung-chun responds that given Kanglim's severe condition, reputation is irrelevant. He also points out that they are unsure of the fate of his daughter, Onji. He asserts that to deal with a dangerous opponent like Yeon Hojeong, it's best to unleash a formidable force like the Blue Wolf. The person agrees to follow the command. Later, he moves to a secure building, unlocks it, and enters, addressing the ferocious Blue Wolf inside. As the Blue Wolf's eyes glare at him from all directions, he instructs the team to step up their efforts. Hojeong is meditating in a forest, focusing on maintaining balance with the tortoise and clearing away dark energies through a breathing technique. He then works on restoring his ki using the white tiger's energy. The white tiger's energy is intense and demanding, requiring well-trained muscles, ligaments, and joints to control it effectively. Hojeong feels that his rigorous training has finally paid off, as the energy now seems to align better with his body. Realizing he's alone, he decides to test his new abilities. He moves forward using the White Tiger stance and performs an attack known as the White Tiger's Dominion. After evaluating the power of his attack, Hojeong wonders if it's still insufficient despite his efforts. He considers pushing himself to the extreme, but decides to eat first. Later, as he enjoys a meal and drink at a restaurant, he feels rejuvenated. At that moment, a girl taps his cup with him and introduces herself, saying she's also alone and would like to join him. She notes that she likes outsiders and asks if he's from around there. The girl asks Hojeong what he thinks and offers to introduce him to charming places in Hunnam. Hojeong invites her to sit, and she chooses to sit on his lap, commenting on his unfamiliar but attractive face and asking where he's been. Hojeong explains he's been in the mountains for about 8 days. She finds this amusing and introduces herself as Nanko. She then asks if she can call him Young Master Yeon. Hojeong agrees, saying she can call him that as much as she likes. Nanko comments on Hojeong's impressive axe, marveling at how he wields such a large weapon with his slender physique. Hojeong laughs and retorts that her attempts at flattery are obvious and that her bloodthirsty demeanor is off-putting. Nangpo realizes her cover has been blown, turns to leave, and remarks that her usual tactics didn't work this time. Hojeong tells her that her approach was poor and that she should have hidden the poison better. Nangpo acknowledges the suggestion, but Hojeong dismisses it, asserting that her plans are futile because he intends to deal with her and her clan himself. Nangpo responds to Hojeong's threat by asserting that he doesn't truly know her or her group, hinting at their formidable nature. She points out that everyone who has encountered her group has died, and she questions if Hojeong is familiar with the Hyeongsan Swordmaster, the last member of the Hyeongsan faction. Nangpo brags that it only took 5 members of their Blue Wolf squad to capture him, dismissing the Swordmaster's reputation as overrated. Hojeong is surprised by the ease with which they handled such a reputed master and asks how many members of her squad are present this time. Nangpo boasts that all 70 members of the Blue Wolf group are present and claims that even the 13 seats of Divine Heaven would struggle against them. She suggests their prowess is so great that they could defeat the most powerful figures in the martial world and display their severed limbs. However, Hojeong interrupts, dismissing her claims as nonsense. He explains that the 13 seats of divine heaven, which include the 10 divine emperors and the 3 lords, are superhumans capable of shaking the martial world. Hojeong argues that even if the Blue Wolf group had 700 members, they would still be no match for his father alone. Nangpo, intrigued by Hojeong's confidence, expresses excitement at the idea of capturing both him and his father as a souvenir. She laughs, enjoying the challenge of being underestimated, and predicts that overconfident people like Hojeong often meet an early end. As she leaves, she tells him she'll see him the next day. All the tables and patrons on Hojeong clear out with Nangpo. Hojeong, observing this, realizes there are indeed 70 of them. He then senses another significant presence and recognizes it as the patriarch of the Yeon Clan, Yeon, and his daughter arriving. Yeon, a powerful figure known as the Sword God and a comrade in arms from past conflicts, is both an ally and an adversary. Hojeong considers what message to send and decides on what message to relay. At port, Yeon reviews a spy report and sighs, expressing disappointment that their trip to Hanam seems to have been in vain. Yeon asks for clarification, and Yeon explains that the patriarch of the Yeon clan is attempting to capture Yeon Hojeong and has deployed the Blue Wolf Squad for this purpose. Yeon is shocked, recognizing the Blue Wolf Squad as a notorious group known for their brutality. They would go to extreme lengths, such as poisoning wells or burning villages, to capture their target. There was even a case where they gruesomely tore apart a child in front of people to capture a Yeon faction member known for his strong sense of justice. Yeon remarks that dealing with the current situation is more about mental strength than skill, suggesting that a young man like Yeon Hojeong, who is still rising to prominence, may struggle with it. At that moment, a beggar approaches Yeon asking for a donation. Yeon gives him some money, and the beggar, as he walks away, informs Yeon that young Master Yeon has requested a meeting the following day and will be preparing beforehand. Yeon laughs at this and comments to Yeon that Hanam is indeed an interesting place, implying that it's a place of significant challenges. After a night's rest, Hojeong wakes up early, checks his weapon, and feels prepared. He opens the window and throws a dagger, killing a Blue Wolf Squad member immediately. The other members are confused by the sudden attack, and Hojeong declares that it's time to begin his cleaning process. This marks the conclusion of the 8th part of this manhwa. The 9th part will be uploaded soon. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.